What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com. It is August 13th. It is Smackdown after Summerslam. We have all kinds of Summerslam coverage for you. You know the drill. Just go to Fightful.com and see it all. We've got dozens of interviews coming up for you. You can get early looks at those by subscribing to FightfulSelect.com. We are opening those up to a little bit of everybody who subscribes. I've got the Backstage Report podcast this week, the Q&A podcast this week. But hey, maybe you're a little impatient. Maybe you don't want to hang around and wait to ask questions. Well, you can donate a super chat. Any amount that you donate, you can ask a question, get your statement read on the air. I'm joined tonight by Alex Pawlowski. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing about as well as I possibly could be.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's not a question. That's not an answer I usually get following these shows.
No. It's funny. Like, when we made the decision that it was like probably best for my own sanity and for Fightful in general for me to move away from doing weekly WWE podcasts, all of a sudden it got good, and I'm like, oh, well, I kind of would miss talking about this if it's going to be this
You worked
good.
yourself into a shoot, Alex, is what you did.
Apparently.
We got to get some more triggered rants before this is all said and done, though.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have an off week where I'll just get to go just off.
IG the King sent a super chat, says, love the new beard. Alex should have a smile. It's less of a beard. I shaved the other day upon coming home, or yesterday upon coming home, and I've already got a little bit of a shadow from this morning. But hot damn, Alex, it is time to talk SmackDown Live. Tim Traver actually just sent a super chat. He said, I just want to say thank you for being there when I need it. Unlike this one company I've been dealing with for 3 or 4 weeks, full of bullcrap. Other than that, I'm doing awesome now. Well, damn. At least you gave us the therapist rate, my friend. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Good news, Alex. Not only did we hit 400 or 300 thumbs up on our Raw video, we got to 400.
Wow. Nice.
So, needless to say, that SmackDown pilot from April 1999 that myself and Warren Hayes did, we're going to be releasing that. It's going to go up for Fightful Select early, since it was originally intended for them. But it's going to go up for free on Fightful.com as well. In addition, I'm not leaving Fightful Select out in the cold. Warren and I also covered the first SmackDown, which was number 1. They didn't even count the pilot, which happened later that year. But yeah, guys, you all over-delivered. We have almost 500 thumbs up on that video. I can't tell you guys how important that is. Leave the thumbs up. Leave the thumbs up. Hey, I said last week if you all got us to 11,000 subscribers or 11,000 followers on Twitter by SummerSlam, I would straighten my hair for this podcast. But you didn't do it. You're ungrateful. You didn't do it. So instead, you got a little bit shaven Sean here. It's time to talk SmackDown Live, Alex.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it off because I don't want you to get joy out of this. that doesn't equal thumbs up for me. That doesn't equal comments and engagement. It's a lot better when it's like, yeah, Alex complains about everything. That SJW complains about everything. Of course, in the mark. That's what I'm trying to conjure up. But let's go ahead. Kevin Owens comes out. Remember signing with WWE 5 years ago. He is super over with that crowd in Toronto, and he's happy that he got to share the moment of kicking Shane McMahon's ass with all of Toronto and his family. Alex, I thought Owens did a phenomenal job putting over King of the Ring. This was really good. He says that winning King of the Ring would be just as important to him as any title that he's won. This goes a long way, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, King of the Ring, winning the tournament of the King of the Ring, 96. I mean, that's like that. I think that's 96, 95, one of those two. That made Stone Cold. Like, he did the Austin 316 promo in the interview after it. Like, it made Steve Austin into Steve Austin, into Stone Cold. Like, there's a lineage here of people who won this thing and then became giants in the industry. So absolutely. And the thing that I love about it is that you have guys who were established, like a former Universal Champion. KO, I think, is the most established. The Miz as well. But then you have the guys who haven't held that big title.
Oh,
And then
only
you have guys
only two that have right there.
Right. And then a bunch of guys who are established as well, but haven't held that big title, and a bunch of guys who haven't held any titles at all. A lot of up-and-comers. And that's, like, the field for the King of the Ring tournament is really intriguing. And there's a lot of possibilities that make me so happy and optimistic for the future of this business. And then I realized I'm probably just going to make it Baron Corbin, and then I'm going to, have one of those rants you love.
He's in the tournament, correct?
He is in the tournament. And rest assured, Sean Ross Sapp, he's winning this tournament.
Oh, for sure he's winning that thing.
Yeah.
King Corbin.
King Corbin.
Yeah.
It rolls right off the tongue. It'll make all the smarks pissy on the internet. Vince will love it.
So let's go ahead and run down the entrance. On the SmackDown side, it's Ali, Andrade, Apollo Crews, Buddy Murphy, Chad Gable, Elias, Kevin Owens, and Shelton Benjamin. I love that field, Alex.
Love it. The SmackDown field is by itself. It's like all these names would make me so happy to see one of them make it to the finals and then inexplicably lose to Baron Corbin. But that run, whoever that is, Ali, Chad Gable, Buddy Murphy after tonight. I mean, you kidding me? King Buddy sounds really great after what we saw tonight. But there's all these opportunities on the SmackDown side, specifically all these great names for all these amazing possible second round matches that could possibly take place down the line. I love it.
On the Raw side, it's Cesaro, Cedric Alexander, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Ricochet, Sami Zayn, and Samoa Joe. I wouldn't say as strong as the SmackDown side in the ring, but it ain't far off. Baron Corbin is a good worker, especially with this cast of people. Alex, here's what I want. I want every year for WWE to do this.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind them doing it in the fall. And maybe, because this can, it could be its own pay-per-view again. I don't think it should be in the old format, though. But hey, look at the wild success of the G1.
Yep.
WWE has the cast and crew to where they can, I don't know, rival that. It's hard for me to say, but you throw a 16-man tournament in there, WWE ain't going to do a round robin. That's fine. That ain't their style. But if every year this culminated at Survivor Series, that keeps along with that theme of someone surviving the tournament. I mean, they had the Deadly Game tournament even. I would love to see this culminate at Survivor Series every year. It won't this year. But I think this has the possibility every week over the next, 4 or 5 weeks of being something very, very special.
Yeah, absolutely. Making these weekly shows appointment viewing based on wrestling is something that would be really interesting and a good way to go for them, considering that they're nominally wrestling shows, as opposed to, honestly, I like what they're doing with the intrigue of who tried to kill Roman.
Yeah.
I like that. And that's one reason why you come. It can't be the only reason. The idea that, hey, here's why we're coming. We want to see this match that you've advertised to us. That's going to be great. Last night they said, hey, Braun gets a U.S. title shot against AJ Styles. Is that probably going to wind up in a DQ because Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson attack him? Probably. But I'm excited for the potential of an actual match between those two guys. So I would tune in to watch that. So there's other ways of doing this. All these tournament, a tournament like King of the Ring, allows you to all of a sudden, they haven't released full brackets yet, which allows you, but filling in a bracket would be a lot of fun on a tournament like this to figure out who would you want to see face who and all that kind of stuff.
I like the Bellator method. Bellator over on the MMA side does their opening round, then they determine their brackets after that. And that way you just have your opening round matches. Then you can kind of set things up, and you can kind of go back and retrospect those brackets, so to speak. I think this is going to be very cool. Apparently, the finals are at Clash of Champions, according to Wikipedia.
Well, yeah. I mean,
although I did do a feature for a very long time, which basically it was Wikipedia fact check, which told you don't listen to Wikipedia. So. Hey, but I thought they did a great job building this as something that matters. Xavier Woods put it over big as well. I like that.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon comes out. Why is this the unemployment line outside the Scotiabank Arena, Alex?
I don't know. Like, but wherever it is, Shane McMahon should be in it somewhere.
God.
Like this is why I begged for weeks for them to put some kind of stipulation where if Shane loses, there is a consequence. Something. What happens if you lose, Shane? Nothing? Is the answer nothing? That you get to go back to just being a dick? Like, that's a thing that you don't there's nothing that happens to you negatively if you were to lose this match. Whereas if Kevin Owens were to lose, he would be forced to leave the company. If you were to lose, then nothing, because he's back doing the same stuff he was doing before. And this was stupid. This was a really stupid segment with him going like, you attacked Elias because he was wearing a specific kind of shirt. Now I get to take your money. It's dumb. It's just dumb.
So Kevin Owens gets fined $100,000 because Shane McMahon says that Elias was an official when Owens attacked him. And that doesn't fly. He's got to set an example. He's got to make rules. He's got to make sure that everybody follows and that Elias is traumatized and has the night off. 24/7 rule is suspended. Owen demands that Shane McMahon reconsider, as that's a lot of money to him. It will upset his family. It takes food off of his table. Will cause issues with his family. It keeps them from providing for them. Fortunately, Alex, for Kevin Owens, even though he's on a tight budget, he can still afford to get a super erect penis.
Yes.
Thanks to BlueChew.com.
Yeah, it's true.
Because right now, when Kevin Owens uses the code FIGHTFUL, he can get his first shipment of Blue Chew absolutely free. And let me tell you what, Alex, if you're having some family issues with your wife, I think that might fix a few of them. I think it might cure a few things. So even though Kevin Owens owes $100,000 in storyline, he's going to owe someone a rock-hard wiener. And if you want to increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed, Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. Take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. Since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever that opportunity arises. It's prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. So no in-person doctor's visits, no waiting in the pharmacy, no more awkwardness. Prepares and ships direct, so they're cheaper than a pharmacy. The mailman ain't gonna know what's up with your penis unless you're banging the mailman. Then the mailman will absolutely know what's up with your penis, and they will say, damn, you took some Blue Chew. You probably used that code FIGHTFUL. You probably only paid $5 shipping. I can tell that you paid $5 shipping because it's on the package that I just delivered to you. But the package that you just delivered to me was priceless. That's what the mailman or mailwoman would say. We are not here to judge. Let the people know that you heard about them from us at Blue Chew. Alex, you look like you're ready to say something.
No, I was just thinking. I like the idea of somebody just passing. Like, here. I'm sorry. Here's. I'm gonna write you an IOU for one rock hard penis.
Yes.
And then just hold on to that. Make sure you hold on to that because I will deliver at some point.
Get out of argument free card.
Rock hard penis. Yep.
Sorry, honey. I know I got fined $100,000, but our sex will be exceptional tonight.
In lieu of the children's college funds, here I present to you one rock hard penis.
Well, you get your first shipment free, so it's several rock hard penises.
Oh, that's.
I mean, whether it be multiple at the same time or just the same one repeatedly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't take them back to back. Only one within a 24-hour period, so they say.
Please. Yes.
I hate to tell you guys, I got lots of mailman material, so I'm going to be wearing that one out. Just like you'll wear out the mailman when you use BlueChew.com. Code FIGHTFUL. Damn. Back in the office, Kevin Owens destroys the TV in Shane's office. He didn't want to go the rock hard penis route.
No.
He preferred to go the keeping $100,000 route.
Right.
But
my favorite part is him absolutely wrecking that $150 40-inch TV from Walmart and going, add another $5,000 to it. Like, yeah, it's not like. And then the best part is later when they go back into the
You don't get to
office.
decide your own fines.
I know it's true. They go back into the office and it's cracked everywhere. It's a close up of it, and Shane goes, "Yeah, that's totally busted." Like Shane, we know. Like we saw it happen, and the cracks would prove you right. I mean, Shane really is just awful at everything having to do with what he does.
Charlotte Flair defeated Ember Moon. Since becoming top contender and it being handed to her, not beating anybody, Ember has been attacked by Bayley, beaten by Bayley, beaten by Alexa Bliss, beaten by Charlotte Flair, and left laying by Natalya. How do you feel about that?
Well, listen. We didn't really much talk about her match versus Bayley 2 nights ago at SummerSlam.
Well, me and Jimmy did because we covered the show.
Right, but you and I didn't last night because it's a SmackDown show, SmackDown match nominally. I tweeted like she busted out a Yokosuka cutter into a code breaker,
It was amazing.
which I'd never seen before.
I thought it was a GTS, wasn't it?
Well, it was whatever. It started up with like up here and then flipped her over into the code breaker. Nuts. It was amazing. And then tonight versus Charlotte, she does this like run into the corner, jump onto the middle turnbuckle, springboard plancha to the outside. And my thought was, I was watching this, I was like, I saw her do not these things because that's new and innovative. But I saw her do stuff like this in NXT, and I was like, man, this girl's going to run shit on the main roster. And she got brought up to the main roster 18 months ago. I know part of that was she was injured, but she could have been doing all of this in a high-profile spot from day one, and they decided, nah, we're not going to do that with you. I don't know what reason. I'm not casting aspersion. I'm just saying the only reason we didn't get to see all of this for the better part of a year at least, minus the injury time, is because they just didn't let her. They just didn't let her wrestle. They didn't let her do anything in a high-profile spot. But what she showed, losing to Bayley and then losing tonight to Charlotte, is that she can absolutely hang with the very best they have. If you want to say the Horsewomen are the very best they have on the main roster, one tier below, that's where Ember Moon is. And absolutely, she can absolutely hang with them on her best night, and I think that the future still remains bright for her, but we'll see where she goes from here.
Well, this was a good match.
It was.
I had a light breeze outside, so my DirecTV cut out. Charlotte used a bit of a lion tamer into a Boston Crab. Bipolar chants for Charlotte, and I don't mean like people chanting bipolar. I mean like Charlotte sucks.
Yeah.
Ember fought back with some really good kicks, does a good flying code breaker, but my favorite spot of the match is when she got yanked off the rope and barely cleared for the flip bump. That was really good. She tapped out to the figure 8. Where does Ember Moon fit into all this? Straight jabbing.
Well, I mean, not straight jobbing. She lost. She lost those matches, but again,
this isn't working.
I know you are.
This isn't working, and I don't like it. We're moving on now. Aleister Black is still very moody, Alex. Unlike you, who is not moody at all tonight. I'm kind of disappointed.
I'll be moody about this thing we're talking about right now.
Yeah. This reminds me a lot of the Bray Wyatt promos where he would talk for several minutes but not really say anything. I'm done with it. I'm done with the woods, man. Get me out of here.
Yeah. This is stupid. Like you had him forever. I don't know how long. 2 months? Sitting in a room saying, somebody come and pick a fight with me. Now, he's not just enunciating those words, he's going, he tells a fable about paying the boatman across the river Styx. I'm like, dude, I don't know what crazy, prog rock lyrics you've been listening to,
You
dude.
heard a lot more out of that than I did.
No, he starts out with, we all have to pay the boatman. I'm like, is that like some weird thing with Uber and boats? Like, what is pay the boatman? Oh, that's what you're doing. You're doing the River Styx parable. Fine. But he ends up with knock. And I know he's like He's got a weird accent because he speaks really good English, but he's still Dutch. But it's really weird. They keep pressing forward on the close up until it's like all the way up his nose. Listen, you can't do the thing where he sits in a room and does promos about nobody will fight me, and then somebody says I'll fight you, and then he beats that guy. So then he goes back in the same room and does the same promos about how nobody will fight him. Like, just have him fight people. Like, why doesn't he pick fights with people and then beat them? Like, do something. You can't just like keep. WWE does this over and over again. They tell stories, not A to B to C. They just keep repeating part A over and over and over again. Like, you guys, you already moved to C. Now it's time to go to D and E and F on this story. And you know what F stands for? The grade I gave this segment in my mind.
So what was it that Aleister Black closed the promo with again, Alex?
Knock, knock, knock.
He's feuding with the Three Stooges. He just called them out.
Oh,
there we go.
There you
Done.
Go. Good.
Roman Reigns defeated Buddy Murphy. Ooh, boy. I can't wait. This is the main event of this show.
Oh, hell yeah.
This match ruled. And I know you're happy about it, Alex. And with each minute that passed in this match, I knew that you were getting happier and happier, as was I. Mm-hmm. This may come as a surprise to you, Alex, but I interviewed Buddy Murphy this week.
Oh, I've seen the photographic evidence.
Yes. And to say that he seemed a bit dejected was an understatement. Now, that may have been because he just spent 2 hours doing interviews. Mm-hmm. But dejected no more should this guy be. He's going to be in King of the Ring, and he's going to do some really great stuff.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to establish him before this. Roman Reigns gave and gave and gave in this match, and as a result, Buddy Murphy gave back.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Reigns slugged Murphy and sold his ass off. The first move that Buddy Murphy ever did on SmackDown, ever, Alex.
Ever.
This is his first match, I believe, on cable television, period.
Yes. Period.
He's had like 8 pay-per-view matches, but never a SmackDown match. And the first move that we see him do is flying through the air and hitting Roman Reigns so hard that Roman Reigns had to powder out and sell for about 45 seconds. That's a hell of a way to establish somebody, Alex.
Yeah, that was the old V trigger. That was a running bicycle knee that caught Roman Reigns, as they used to say, right in the mush. And that was so good. And it was, what I loved about it was that it was out of Reigns just tossing him across the ring. And Buddy Murphy, like, rolling up into it, like, using that momentum to, like, carry himself back, using that inertia to run into it. Like, he wasn't intimidated. He said, you know what? You jump me in the locker room. That's fine. Now we're in the ring. I know this is your yard, but, like, I'm pretty comfortable here too, big dog. And I thought this was excellent. Like, it was everything that needed to be. I tweeted last night, if they let Buddy Murphy show half as much against Roman Reigns as Cedric Alexander got to show against Drew McIntyre, it was going to be a star-making turn. And it was, 100%. Like, both... There was talk, apparently, of them doing this match. Maybe not this match, but Buddy Murphy versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And if they had, it would have been match of the night, hands down, across, like, for me, across the board. These guys kicked ass, both of them. I mean, they sold for each other. They hit amazing offense. The 2.9 counts on the near falls.
There were dueling chances. So
people were chanting for Buddy Murphy. I had a guy, Bryan Hall, who follows me, tweet me, this is the first match I've ever seen of Buddy Murphy, which if you don't watch 205 Live and you don't watch the pre-shows of the pay-per-views, you wouldn't know who the hell this guy is. And he tweets me, this is the first match I've ever seen of Buddy Murphy. Why is this guy not running shit?
Well, like, the thing is...
He makes that kind of an impression when you see him for the first time. The first time I saw him, like, with the chains off, when he was in that 205 Live tournament for Mania, not this past one, but the year before that. And the first time I saw him in that, I was like, whoa, he really is the best kept secret. And every time I saw him, he got better and better and better. So all of you out there who saw him for the first time tonight, if you have the network, feel free to go back and watch all of his matches on 205 Live. But if not, just wait. he's only going to get better as you see more and more of him.
And this wasn't even necessarily his typical style of match. This was more of a Reigns style of match.
Yes.
And I think it was a test to see how Buddy Murphy would work. He did some really great meteoras. Reigns ate the post and almost got pinned. There was a Superman punch that Murphy kicked out of. Also, for all the criticizing I do of Tom Phillips called the hell out of this match. Tom Phillips had a great sense of excitement in his voice. Murphy countered a spear with a huge series of knees and a filthy brain buster. The best brain buster this side of Fightful contributor Brandon Howard Thurston, our dude, who has a good one as well. Murphy got punched off the top rope and went into the barricade and then did a full backflip off the spear.
Yeah.
Reigns kind of gave a little head nod towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this. This ruled. This was amazing.
This, I mean, again, obviously I don't have any inside information, but it felt like Buddy Murphy and Roman Reigns watched Cedric versus Drew. And that's like, Roman's pretty much exclusively worked with Drew for the past several months. And Cedric and Buddy had wars together in 205 Live, and they watched their old rivals tear it up last night. And I want to believe one of them texted the other one last night and said, "Let's go out there tomorrow night and tear the roof off the place and be better than that." I mean, like it was so great to watch these two, like as a 205 lifer, like the guy, like was watching from the beginning. To see those two guys who carried 205 Live at different points in its life be brought up to the main roster and go toe-to-toe with two of the best heavyweights the business has to offer. Like, wow.
Reminder, guys, donate a super chat. Any amount. We'll read your question or statement on the air. Charles Haskins says, as most people, I'm not a fan of Vince's booking, but I would not book talent based on my faves. Candice and Tony will be my face of the women's division despite EO being my favorite wrestler. Thoughts? Man, the horsewomen are very good. And just because we see them a lot doesn't mean they're not very good. I don't think that Candice and Tony or EO are as well-rounded as any three of the horsewomen. Maybe all four of them. Like, there's still a little something missing. The horsewomen are the horsewomen because they all have the ability to be very special. And so do these women too. But they were able to put that package together a little bit earlier on. So I think the anchors of their division are the horsewomen and should be. Matt Thomas says, is it a mistake to not use the Fiend on either show? Alex, I'll let you handle this one.
Okay, this is the thing. I didn't think he should have shown up. But as far as I can remember, on last night and tonight, they didn't mention it. They didn't mention him like there was no mention of Finn Balor, no mention
I don't think they mentioned Edge either.
But Edge isn't a current member of the roster.
Maybe
like they could have. They mentioned almost all the other matches that took place in SummerSlam, but they didn't say, "Oh, by the way, last at SummerSlam, the Fiend made his in-ring debut. Here are some still shots of it, and he beat Finn Balor." They didn't even do that, which makes me worry that they got some calls from sponsors who were like, "Hey, the dude with the severed head, maybe tone it down a notch. We have parents who are yelling at us." Like, I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I've not heard that. That's the kind of thing I would usually hear about. Julian Weeks says, I like that KO got super mad about the 100K. He should. That money should be important.
Yeah.
Josh Steelman says, thank you, Fightful. That is all. No, thank you. Yeah, Alex, I'm happy that Kevin Owens is doing that. You got to establish that money matters to these people. They fight for money.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's a weird deal. Is that it was always a thing that Vince never wanted anybody to there be like winners' purses and people worrying about money because they're superstars. They don't need to worry about money because they're rich and powerful and awesome, and you want to be like them.
Kind of the reason why they got rid of the occupational gimmicks too, because for a while everybody had to be a cop or a trash man or a repo man or something like that, or a police officer. Yeah, and it's like, wow, how much are you paying these guys that they got to work a second job taking out the trash? Vincent says, only been watching wrestling for a year now. What must-see matches should I watch? Also, that Roman Murphy match was lit, made me interested in Murphy. I would recommend right off the top Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, TNA Unbreakable, 05. For sure, Shawn Michaels, Shelton Benjamin. As far as Raw goes, Shawn Michaels versus John Cena was a good one. The Undertaker Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania 25, all really great matches. What are some that stick out to you, Alex?
Oh man, like all the ones that you mentioned, for sure.
Eddie and Ray at Halloween Havoc, I think.
Eddie and Ray Halloween Havoc '97. That's amazing.
Art Barr and Eddie Guerrero at When Worlds Collide against, I think, Santo and I can't remember who the hell else it was. El Hijo who the hell else it was.
Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind. As far as if you really want to see, you have access to the network, and you want to watch more Buddy Murphy. Like watch anything between him and Mustafa Ali. Those guys had a war through the entire summer of 2018. They had a anything goes, like everything's legal match where they were doing like tornado DDTs onto the stairs and stuff. Like they literally murdered each other. Not literally because they're both alive still, but like it was an amazing, amazing match. I think WWE itself voted it was like the third best match of the year, and that's a 205 Live match that nobody saw. Like they were doing amazing stuff. Murphy is out of this world if you give him the right match.
Corey Cropper says, is this who tried to run Roman over, the 2019 version of Who Drove the Hummer in WCW, which Bischoff was also kind of overseeing? Very similar, I think.
Yeah.
In some of the mistakes and the strengths, actually, I think. Because, I mean, that got a little bit corny. This has gotten a lot corny. All they had to do with this, Alex, were a couple things. Have less camera angles.
Yeah.
And maybe have a little better acting. That was it.
Yeah, better acting. The first night was really, really bad. It's kind of odd because the storyline now has gotten very actually kind of compelling, where I don't know who's telling the truth, and that's interesting to me. Because that's always interesting. Like you figure out, like at this point, if everybody's lying, what's going on? One of them's telling the truth, or one of them's lying and the other one's telling the truth. Like all that stuff that's interesting to me. But yeah, the first night with the forklift thing was terrible. What made it worse was the whole, we did an investigation and it looked like forklift driver error.
Yeah, that was another thing.
By the way, it wasn't the normal forklift guy. It was actually a temp. Like, you're doing press releases on that kind of crap. I'm like, no. The fact that somebody pushed a whole bunch of stuff onto Roman Reigns, and then you go to the next week, and we have the thing where Buddy Murphy says, I saw Rowan. Like, you don't have to do it with a forklift. The forklift is a weird red herring. It doesn't need to be there.
Rob Wilkins says, thanks for the retweet, boys. I appreciate it. We appreciate you, Rob. We also have, damn it, I lost that. There we go. What female talent do you see choosing WWE over AEW? Man, Jody Threat. I had the chance to see that woman at Progress. Holy shit. She is what WWE would want. I saw her do it. I think it was a delayed vertical suplex to David Starr. It was outstanding. She was in a match against Jordan Grace. So that's one that I see. Is there any that you stick out and see, Alex? Because I think Eva Lise would have, but I don't know that WWE was interested, and now she's in that battle royal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't see one that jumps out to mind.
Eloquent says, "What did you think of the G1 and the Kenta heel turn? Kenta needed to be to be a heel." And I saw a lot of people say that WWE wasted Kenta. No, they didn't. He showed up out of shape. He hurt people. He didn't adapt to the style. He couldn't stay healthy. There were any number of things. When I inquired with AEW upon his release, they weren't interested in him. And I don't think that's a coincidence. He wasn't that sought after in that regard. New Japan is a phenomenal fit for him, Alex, especially
for him.
Considering that he is a Japanese name that American fans know. And that's something that helps them as they still try to regain their footing in this country as well.
Yeah, I agree. He never really fit, but it was one of those things of the what if. Like they seemed to be really trying to figure out what they could do to really push him in a certain way, and then he had the injury, and then there was the parking lot attack. By the way, we never found out who did it. But it was like the idea of that what might have been had he not gotten injured or injured other people in NXT. I thought that he was actually coming into his own and having some really, really great matches on 205 Live before his contract ran out. Like he had an amazing match with again Mustafa Ali, which was all about him saying you don't respect me, and Ali saying yes I do respect you, and I'm going to show you that by beating you in this honorable match or whatever. Like that, there was some cool stuff, but it just never quite clicked for anything in any WWE property.
Also, I love Ibushi winning. They've got him locked up for a little while.
Yes,
he's one of the greatest performers I've ever seen in my life. Not only that, he's so versatile, Alex. That guy can do anything.
Yes.
Josh Steelman says, any Fightful family gamers? PSN name is RedXAOS. That is RedXAOS. Hey, he paid for that. Mostly free games come squad up in Paladins. Again, thank you, Fightful. That's an interesting plug. Hey, if you want to plug something, you got to pay a little bit more, my friends. Questions or statements will be read. Plugs, you got to pay that Blue Chew money. You got to pay that 5-star money. You got to pay that Grounds guys money, my friends. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up on this video, though. Reminder, Fightful Select this week. Q&A show. You can ask as many questions as you want if you subscribe, but you might want to do that because I'm going to probably film that tomorrow. Shane McMahon is not too happy about his TV backstage, and Samoa Joe seems ready to help him. Elias comes out to be the special enforcer for this match, but pretty standard stuff through the commercial. A KO Swanton and a Joe Uranagi hit. Those are the highlights. But Alex, this was the first time these guys ever faced on the main roster.
Yep.
Only had faced each other one time in WWE period. It went to a 10-minute no contest. This should have happened on a pay-per-view. And I know that that's not as important these days, but it should have been done with some sort of hype. It should have been important, this match. Two guys that have been well-traveled, that are exceptional performers, that have competed for the title or held the title on pay-per-views, and just, here you go. Now, considering the finish of this, ref bump, Elias counts the quick pin, okay, but do we need to do everything a bunch before we do it for real? That's what they always do. They're like, okay, but this is the one that counts because of all the circumstances.
Yeah. No, I think this should have been it. I think this should have been a very, like, there's a really cool, there was a very brief crossover in NXT of Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens that I think would be cool to explore in an actual feud between these two. Like if you actually are going to say, like, when we finally divest poor Kevin Owens from this terrible Shane McMahon feud, and he gets to have feuds with actual wrestlers. One of them I'd love to see him actually, because I think that he could make Samoa Joe into something more, like, lift him up into something interesting, instead of the guy who just loses all the time. Because these two guys would be so great in a feud on the mic at each other, tearing each other down and saying, like, the only reason that you got out of NXT because I showed up because you were scared, Kevin Owens. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that you could do there. But yeah, I mean, I was like, hey, I don't remember ever seeing these guys wrestle. And I thought, no, they had that one in NXT, but that's it. This should be bigger. This should be a bigger deal than just like Samoa Joe wandering into Shane's office and say, hey, I'll beat him up for you. Like, again, these are really great competitors, and I hate seeing them stooge for Shane O'Mac. I just don't like it. So this was
Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson were great wrestlers in their day, and they stooged.
Yes, but they were also how old at that point? Which I would
only about 8 years older than Samoa Joe right now.
Wow, because they looked about 20 years older than Samoa Joe.
I know they looked super old.
Hard living. But I was intrigued to see where they were going to go with this match, and I didn't hate the match. I hated the circumstances of, like, hey, I'm going to send out the same guy that because you hit him, it cost you a bunch of money, and it's going to ruin any suspense around this match. Like, why would you do that? Like, I mean, I understand why Shane would do it, That makes sense because he's terrible.
Yeah.
But like, why would you ruin what had the potential to be a great match between two amazing, like, Hall of Fame competitors by saying, "Whoopsie daisy, we're gonna have a special enforcer, and if you touch him, we'll fine you a bunch of money." Like, that's stupid. Don't do that.
Briscoe was like 13 years older. My apologies. Korsami 1997 says, any news on Sasha hitting Becky in the back of the head with a chair? Not like new news, but I don't think it was intentional. WWE would not have asked her to do that. It was just heat of the moment, movement, stuff like that. You can only sell so far.
She might have been distracted by all those cameras bobbing up and down, just off in the periphery, you know?
My God, I'm just glad to see her back. Hope Becky's doing okay. Chris Williams says, the Lantern is not in Bray's entrance on YouTube. That's interesting. I did not know that. I need to watch that back, honestly. I'm still catching up on a lot of things, but yeah. The Revival and Randy Orton defeated the New Day. Well, you wonder how that happened. The Revival backstage say that they regret winning the 24/7 title and say that the New Day have ruined the tag team division. Xavier Woods is backstage sad about being in King of the Ring. That helps too, Alex. All that stuff we talked about earlier, him being bummed he's not in it, love it. Also, would have loved to seen him in it because he is a fantastic performer. But considering the nature of that bracket, I understand.
Yeah, I understand too. I guess the one guy I might have replaced to put him in would be Shelton Benjamin. But I love the idea that Shelton Benjamin's in it because that bridges the gap from a time when the King of the Ring was around and meant something. But I'm pretty sure Shelton Benjamin's in there to take a loss from somebody, and maybe you don't want to do that kind of a thing with Xavier. Anyway, you're right. This whole promo, in addition to everything else, further puts over the King of the Ring as something everybody should want to be a part of.
So I was just sent a message by somebody watching the show and said, the Lantern was in the entrance, but it got pulled because it's considered graphic material. And it violated YouTube's rules and regulations. Wow. My God. It's a lantern.
I heard that they cut the YouTube video of the entrance down to like 50 seconds. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was to remove all traces of the lantern.
Makes sense.
Which is too bad because the lantern's amazing.
It is. I couldn't see it there. So
even if I never can watch the clip again, I'll never forget having seen that lantern.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the Owens-Joe match. Pop-up powerbomb. Very cool. Like that. Yeah. Randy Orton comes out, and I thought he cut a really good promo on Kofi Kingston. He was like, your family's always going to think less of you because you took the easy way out. You can't beat me. Kind of just reinforcing all the stuff that he said before. And suggesting a six-man tag. You don't seem as happy about this promo, but Alex, you hate everything.
No, I don't. Not today. I loved a lot of stuff today, but it's a Randy Orton thing. Like the idea, again, we didn't talk about this because we didn't talk about it, but they just did this same deal with another program with AJ and Samoa Joe, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna say mean things to your family, and it's gonna cause you to flip out, and the match is gonna be over, and that's gonna extend this feud for no other reason.
Wasn't that like 2 years ago?
No, it was a year ago. Okay. But it feels more recent because I felt like that program lasted 3 times as long as it needed to because they added that wrinkle to it, and I feel like they're doing that as well to continue this so that I was under the impression that Hell in a Cell was the next pay-per-view, but maybe it's the one after it. Whatever. I feel like the blow-off for this whole thing with Kofi and Randy is going to happen in the Cell. And whenever they're just trying to continue this thing as long as they can. Hold it out. Well,
the Revival worked fantastic together. They're such a well-oiled machine. I love that Guerrero backdrop. Big E's hot tag is always great to watch, and he got planted by a DDT from the Revival. Kofi does this insane dive over the top rope onto Orton, who's like just leaps over the table as a result.
Yeah.
Xavier does a cool handicap back body drop on Dawson. Some really great spots. I'm looking forward to seeing more New Day and Revival, and wouldn't hate to see more Revival with Randy Orton, to be honest with you.
No, yeah. The Revival, I think, Unfortunately, I think their ceiling within WWE is as a great tag team backing up the top, whatever, heel bad guy.
Yeah, ain't
Like,
nothing wrong with working towards that and being one of the best tag teams ever, man. Yeah.
they could be one of the best tag teams ever. I would like them to see them stand alone, but I feel like they can be elevated by being the backup for Randy Orton. There's there are other guys I'd like to see in that role that would then elevate that person as well. But I love watching them go work together. That it never ceases to get a pop out of me how the way they figure out a way of moving around a guy in order to get in position for the Shadow Machine.
It's
like,
really great.
It's really, really great. Like it's one of those things. It's like watching 3-card Monty. We're like, where's the spade? Where's the spade? Where's the spade? You forgot where the spade is, and now we just Shadow Machined you. Like, it's really, really cool stuff.
So yeah, the Shatter Machine happens. This was really, really great. To your point about the being backup, but I mean, New Age Outlaws were largely backup.
Right.
Arn and Tully were largely backup.
Right.
I mean,
Arn and Tully is basically where they are. I have a higher opinion of a Ric Flair at the top of that list than I would as a Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Personally, but they're Arn and Tully. That's like they want to be Arn and Tully. That's the guys they've always wanted to be. It's perfect for them. That makes sense a lot. I mean, if it's just like, hey, I'm Randy Orton and I want backup, you guys will do, then I don't like that. But if he actually enlists them as part of like these, I trust these guys to have my back because they're the best tag team in the world, and I'm going to put them over in a few promos. That's different than, well, the Revival are here already. I guess they'll back me up because I'm Randy Orton. That doesn't really speak really well of how you feel about them as a tag team.
well, in recent years, Randy Orton has kind of stood alone, so I think that is a pretty big endorsement of the Revival if that character were to adopt that. So the Revival continue the beatdown. Kofi makes the save, does the Trouble in Paradise, but Orton stands tall with the RKO, does another to Xavier Woods. Then the Revival pick up Big E, and Orton does one. Hits one more on Kofi. This was really good. It made Randy Orton look like a son of a bitch. It got Revival over. It added sympathy to New Day. It added another wrinkle. Orton could look strong. Revival could look strong because, I mean, you would assume that Orton would just get the pin on Xavier or somebody. I like that Revival got the pin here, and I like that Orton did his damage after the match because he's a real son of a bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly helps to add more fuel to this fire of this feud between Randy and Kofi. That's all good. I do just wish, it's just a pet peeve of mine, that you could have somebody pin the tag team champions and not have the first thing out of the mouth of the announcer be, so-and-so has pinned the tag team champions. Like, we just saw it. It happened. We all recognize what it is. But the fact that you have to say it that way, which is fine, I suppose, means that we're going to get more Revival versus New Day. And what is the brand split? Like, there's no wild card rule necessarily, but anybody can be anywhere. And I guess there's nobody on SmackDown for the New Day to feud with because Daniel Bryan and Rowan are doing something different. But so the Revival, they're not involved in what's going on over on Raw, so they have to come over to SmackDown. I like seeing more Revival, but it's just a weird deal to like, hey, they're here, they have this match because they don't like the New Day for some reason, and now they're top contenders on the other show.
Daniel Bryan comes out with Rowan, says that Buddy Murphy falsely accused he and Rowan of attacking Reigns and says that they had nothing to do with it. I was torn on this promo because I liked Daniel Bryan's passion. And he has a unique ability of turning lame bad promos into good promos. And I think he kind of did that, but I hate the at least somewhat interesting story of Roman Reigns and the whodunit being turned into an all you people promo. The all you people promo is such a shitty crutch. And I mean, I really get that that's Bryan's thing, is that he is able to take that really terrible gimmick and make it really good. But I didn't need it here. I didn't need it here because if he's that worried about everybody thinking that he did it, then why the hell's he even making the effort? Like, if he doesn't give a shit what people think about his role in this, then what's his point here?
Yeah, and I also don't know what. I mean, unless they're pressing, is somebody pressing charges? Would Rowan go to jail? Would he go to jail like Chrisley and Chrisley's wife?
So this,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what the consequences are of, like, oh no, you besmirched this giant man's reputation. However will he live with himself?
So I was talking to Jordan Grace about this because we were talking about the parallels between entertainment and pro wrestling and all that, and I was like, I would love compelling stories like on The Wire and Breaking Bad and all that. The only difference is, in pro wrestling, you can't really get away with all that stuff. You can't have Jordan Grace back there cooking blue meth, because she plays, when she's in the ring, she plays and acknowledges witnesses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're acknowledging that there is an audience, you also acknowledge that there are witnesses to possible crimes.
Yeah.
To situations like this, to hit and runs, to all that stuff. So that's the issue that you run into there. Bryan goes off about the lies and reaffirms or repeats that he didn't have anything to do with it. He clears everybody out of the locker room except for Murphy. He and Rowan attack Murphy, when he wouldn't go back on what he said. Now, keep in mind, Murphy was kind of forced to be like, I lied. He just also had a 13-minute match with Roman Reigns, had a former WWE champion, and the guy that's twice the size of him that was tag team champion, like, kind of forcing him there. I don't know how I feel about him kind of bitching out, but I kind of understand.
Like again, like, this is the thing, is that my rant last week wasn't about simply and only the fact that Buddy Murphy got beat up in the locker room and got made to look like a little bitch. It was the fact that we had no context for who he was in any way. If you are a guy like Bryan Hall who tweets me and says, tonight was the first match I'd ever seen of Buddy Murphy, which means if Bryan Hall was watching last week, he had no idea who this guy was being tossed around by Roman Reigns. Tonight, we have a context for who this guy is. He went to war with the top guy in the company and nearly beat him on several occasions before finally taking a hellacious spear and losing, and there's no shame in that. But after that war, he's in the locker room, still obviously hurting, and Rowan, who's even bigger than the dude that he fought and lost to, is chucking him around the ring, around the locker room. Like, there's context for things. And the context tonight dictated that I didn't have nearly as big a problem with him being beaten up in the locker room, because it appears to me, if everyone is out and we don't know where everything is, like, was Buddy Murphy telling the truth to Roman while under duress and having a coerced confession last week? Or was he lying then and telling the truth now when he said he lied about Rowan when he was under duress and having a coerced confession tonight? I don't know. Like, that's the point, is who knows? But do I trust Daniel Bryan, who's a psychotic in this particular scene? I don't know. But I think he played that part really, really well. Like, when he got up into Buddy Murphy's face, that was really cool. This makes a lot of sense. I love the possibility that we don't have any idea right now who the person is who attacked Roman Reigns.
I love a good mystery. I say it all the time. When I'm not watching wrestling, I watch a good mystery.
Yep.
I like that. Exercises the brain a little bit. And that's what I like. What I don't like is dumbass forklifts and bad camera angles. Oh my God, Roman, watch out. Ah!
I really, really want to retcon all that first night out of it, and it would be such a much better storyline. But we can't, because that's definitely part of it. And when you add that in, it's still super corny. I will say, eventually, we are going to get a Buddy Murphy versus Rowan match, I think, out of this thing. That could be a lot of fun, too.
And Murphy should win that clean. But
yeah,
they didn't need all the camera angles. They didn't need the bad acting. They didn't need that either. Like, that was a pre-tape. No. They could have seen better. With the Joe and Roman Reigns thing, that vehicle should have taken off immediately.
Yeah.
And you should have seen that there were no plates.
Yeah.
You should have seen that. There should have never been a camera angle from the car. That shouldn't have happened. There should have been no mention of a goddamn forklift. There have been 5 errors in this, and I'm still interested because of the parties involved.
Yeah.
So they've overcame a lot. Bryan says he hates liars, and when Roman Reigns finds him, Bryan wants an apology and says next week they will bring Reigns the culprit. Interesting. Well, I like that. I love a cliffhanger. I love a story that develops over the course of a show. I'm all about that. I really dig it. Joseph Farley says tired, lumberjack, wired, special enforcer. You son of a bitch. Well, I won't call you a son of a bitch if you leave a thumbs up on this video. Like it. If you're listening on iTunes, leave a nice review. That helps. It helps Alex afford more whatever the hell he's drinking there from the bottom of the can. I mean, not really. He's on a flat rate, so...
it's really not.
So it helps.
You can like it all you want. I don't get paid more.
He's on a flat rate.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys subscribe. We just hit 18,000. We don't have like 100,000 or 50,000 or anything like that. We do not buy subscribers. We do not buy followers. We do not buy likes. We do not buy any of that stuff. We don't buy comments. We don't buy web traffic. We do not do that outside of maybe a sponsored post or something. We're not buying traffic to come to this. We rely on completely organic traffic. We want you all to truly care about what we're doing. So leave a thumbs up. Show us that you care. Alex, you got anything to say before we leave?
No, I'm really looking forward to next week, the King of the Ring tournament, and finding out who done it.
What a disappointment. I need an epic triggered Alex rant. I love just abusing those keywords.
Yeah.
Just abusing them.
I'm so triggered by Shane McMahon, I don't want to see him on my screen anymore. Ah! Is that better?
Until next time, follow Alex at Pawlowski IV. Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. Follow us at Fightful. Until next time, we're out.